All right, let's talk about something every single student knows all too well, that feeling of dread right before a big exam. But what if you could swap all that stress for a solid strategy? Today, we're going to break down an AI-powered tool that's designed to give you what honestly feels like an unfair advantage for acing your finals.
You know this scene, right? It's Sunday night, the final exam is just days away, you crack open your textbook, look at your notes, and then it hits you. That wave of pure panic. For so many of us, this is where it all starts, a total sense of overwhelm that just kicks off a week of stress and really bad studying.
Because this is the question, isn't it? The one that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m. Out of an entire semester's worth of stuff, what's actually going to show up on the test? What concepts does the professor truly care about? Guessing wrong here, well, it's not really an option.
And the sheer scale of the problem is just huge. I mean, we're talking about maybe 400 pages of lecture notes, a dozen chapters from a textbook that could put you to sleep, and who knows how many formulas or dates. It's this massive mountain of information, and you're supposed to somehow conquer it in a week.
So, what happens? You freeze. It's total decision paralysis. When you're staring at a task that big with no clear path forward, the easiest thing to do is, well, nothing. Or, even worse, you just start randomly flipping through pages, kind of hoping something, anything, will stick.
And this is where we have to face a hard truth. The old way of studying, the one based on sheer willpower and a little bit of hope, it's just broken. Flying blind is a terrible strategy, especially when your grade is on the line. Let's dig into why it just doesn't work. See, most students fall into one of two traps. On one hand, you've got the I'm gonna study everything person. They pull all-nighters, spend 40+ hours trying to memorize every single detail, and end up completely exhausted and still feeling unprepared. Then you have the I'll just guess person. They pick a few chapters that feel important and just hope for the best. Both are a massive waste of your time.
And this right here is the heart of the problem. It's a wild statistic that most people never realize. A huge chunk of your exam, like 80% of the questions, will probably come from only 20% of the course material. Think about that. If you don't know which 20% that is, you are literally wasting 80% of your study time.
But this is where things get interesting. This is where technology completely changes the game. It's no longer about studying harder, it's about studying smarter. There's now a way to find that critical 20% and get a serious strategic edge. So, meet Brigo. In a nutshell, it's an AI-powered app that does something that sounds almost like magic. It scans all of your course materials, your lecture notes, your study guides, even old exams, and it finds the patterns to predict what topics have the highest chance of showing up on your test.
And get this, it does all of that in about 30 seconds. No, that's not a typo. We're not talking hours of waiting. You upload your files, and in less time than it takes to make a cup of coffee, the AI gives you a data-driven plan. That's efficiency on a completely different level.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, how on earth is that possible? Well, it's not magic, it's machine learning. Let's pull back the curtain and see what's actually happening in those 30 seconds. The whole process is incredibly simple. Step 1, you just upload your stuff. Notes, slides, whatever you've got. Step 2, the AI goes to work, analyzing everything and looking for clues and patterns that a human would totally miss. And finally, you get a prioritized list that turns that mountain of notes into a clear, strategic to-do list.
So in that quick 30-second scan, the AI is doing some heavy lifting. It's performing content extraction, which means it's identifying all the key concepts. Then it's doing pattern detection, looking for signals like how often a topic comes up or how it connects to other big ideas. And finally, it crunches the numbers to calculate the probability for each topic, basically telling you exactly what's hot and what's not.
And what you get at the end looks like this: a clean, simple study roadmap. So instead of a messy pile of notes, you get a clear directive. It'll say something like, hey, focus on beta blockers. There's an 88% chance you're going to see them on the exam. Instantly, you know exactly where to put your energy.
Now, this all sounds cool in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Well, this new strategic approach leads to some pretty amazing results that every student wants. Way less time wasted, and you guessed it, better grades. Let's talk about accuracy. That 88% prediction we just saw, that's not a fluke. On average, Brigo's predictions are incredibly accurate. What does that mean for you? It means you can actually study with confidence, knowing you're not just guessing, you're focusing on what truly matters. So what does that accuracy do for your schedule? It saves you a massive amount of time. We're talking 15 to 20 hours saved per exam. That's not just a number. That's 2 extra nights of actual sleep, time to hang out with friends, or just to, not be studying, all while being more effective.
But here's the bottom line. Does it help your grades? The data is a loud yes. Students using this strategy see their grades jump by an average of 10 to 20%. That's often the difference between getting a B and landing an A. It's proof that studying smarter, not longer, gets you better results. But it's not all just about the scores. Just listen to what Emily, an engineering student, said about her experience. She said she walked into exams feeling prepared, instead of panicking. And honestly, that mental shift from pure anxiety to pure confidence might be the biggest win of all.
So the technology is real, and the results speak for themselves. The only real question left is whether you're ready to grab this advantage for yourself. Let me show you how to get started.
Look, it really boils down to a simple choice. You can stick with the old way, the stress, the all-nighters, the guessing game, or you can step into a totally new, way smarter way of preparing for your exams.
Just look at the difference here. On one side, you have panic and guesswork. On the other, you have confidence and strategy. You're actually studying fewer hours, but you're achieving so much more. The choice couldn't be clearer.
And getting started is as easy as it gets. Seriously. First, just download the Brigo app. Second, upload your course materials. It takes just a couple of minutes. And third, hit the button and get your first exam prediction. That's it. You're officially on your way.
So, I guess this is the question you have to ask yourself. The era of just trying to cram everything in your brain through sheer force is over. The tools to be more strategic, way more efficient, and a whole lot more confident are right here. The only thing left to ask is, are you ready to use them